Annie, it's a very sad and a very heartbreaking information or expose. When you look at the scholarship secretariat or the entity itself was established with one main objective. The objective is to help or support students that were brilliant but were needy. I think that is a very important clause. That you should be brilliant and you should be somebody that is needy. And when we talk about someone who is needy, we all know who that person is. And I'm sure that the framework would have defined what they mean by somebody being needy. It's so surprising and it's shocking that an institution that was built with a clear mandate, with a good intention, have been now converted into a business outlet. I am saying this because it's been revealed with so many complaints from some students that people have to buy the scholarship. Scholarship that is supposed to be for poor people, people who are needy. The rich is now buying the scholarship. So there are instances where there's an allegation that people use £5,000 to buy scholarship that worth £40,000 for to go and study abroad. So you ask yourself, the one who accepted the £5,000, where is that going to? So the scholarship secretariat have been bedeviled with corruption, the issue of transparency being lacking or an opaque operation. And I was so surprised that is it Richard Jeffy was educating us some of the procedure, the fact that, formally people have to travel far to the scholarship secretariat to be interviewed in order to get the scholarship, but they feel that that should not be the case. They should, constitute a panel made of MP, made of some politician, DCE, and individual to interview individuals and to also make sure that these individuals are indeed poor. That he cannot justify the reason for what we are seeing today. Look, this expose just tells us that the poor, the ordinary Ghanaian, contribute or pay tax, and these taxes, instead of being used to support individuals that this scholarship secretariat was established to help, is virtually helping whether the rich or people who are not poor. So, for example, we had instances where we have Dr. Dennis Addo coming up. He's a CEO to a hospital, and he benefited as much as $50,000 to go and study abroad. How can you call somebody who is a CEO as somebody who is needy? And now when you go into it, this is a man who described himself as a pioneer of MPP activist, a member of TESCON. So he was once a member of TESCON, which presupposes that he got the scholarship not because he was needy, but because he's an MPP and he's somebody who supports the agenda of MPP. We have, again, instances where Gifty Owari-Mensah, who is a deputy CEO of National Service Secretary, also benefited from scholarship. But how can somebody describe Gifty as somebody who is needy? We have instances where people, related to, do I say big wins of NDC? So, for example, the personal assistant to the second lady also got scholarship to go outside and study. You ask yourself, somebody who is a relative to Samira Baumia, how can you describe such a person as poor? You have a relative of Kenfori Atta.
But let me ask this question.
Yes.
Where was Samira Baumia if her sister or brother, whatever, wants to study abroad? Where will she get £40,000 to go and study?
So the issue is that the secretariat, we are not saying that it should be selected, but the secretariat was established for one purpose. One of it is the fact that the person should be poor. And a person should be brilliant. You see, there is a clear definition. You should. So it means that if you are poor and you are not brilliant, you are not entitled to the scholarship. And if you are brilliant and you are not poor, you are not entitled. They are two very distinct words. You should be brilliant and you should be poor in order to benefit. So you may be poor, but once you are not brilliant, you cannot, benefit from this scholarship. And of course, we have instances, of course, where there are some people who have benefited. You cannot describe them as necessarily brilliant, but probably because they are connected. So it looks like this scholarship, you see it as another form of corruption, another form of nepotism.
When I listened to Richard Jemfi,
yes,
he said in the process, if you make 100% of your aptitude test, it's just about 25%
yes,
of the whole procedure. That disturbed me a bit because the two key indicators for persons to qualify for scholarship are 1, brilliant, 2, needy.
yes.
So if being brilliant, that scores you 100% of the aptitude test, only makes 25%, then the rest is what?
You see, I'm so surprised that
75%.
It's such a shameful act.
The board that has been established, they will determine, or how?
Annie, sometimes you see, it's not everything that we need to come out and defend. This is a very shameful thing. That's something that is meant for the poor. We are selling it out. Why should somebody buy a scholarship 5,000 in order to get a 40,000 scholarship? Why would, for example, Michael Ofori-Atta Jr. describe himself as poor? Somebody who is a relative to the president and the former finance minister. How can he say he's poor? The fact that he may be brilliant doesn't make him eligible for that scholarship, because the scholarship is not just for the brilliant, but it is for the brilliant and the poor. Sadly enough,
maybe he's poor. Maybe
he's
needy.
He's needy.
He needs $40,000.
You have your uncle being a president, and your uncle cannot support you. It's a scholarship that you have to get from. Look, but honestly, let's put issues right. When you look at this individual, it is not just because they are related to somebody who is rich, but the underlying factor is that these people are NPP activists. That is the thing. That is why they've been given. Because we had instances where former women organizers were given scholarship. There is this woman, Amma Frempoma. Let me just get this. Fosia, as I said, she's related to the second lady. She also got a scholarship of 17,000 to go to UK and study. We have Celestina Amwaku-Atta. She is a youth activist of NPP. She benefited 27,000 Ghana cedis to go and study an MSc program. We had instances where people got to the tune of 28,000 Ghana cedis, 28,000 pounds just to go and study because they are members of NPP. They are members of NPP. So the underlying issue is the fact that the scholarship secretariat is now being run as a second, office of NPP, because people who are benefiting, a large chunk of them seems to be people belonging to the NPP. And if you are not a member of NPP,
is Celestina Amwaku-Atta the daughter of former Minister Amwaku-Atta?
I guess so.
She's not?
She's an NPP
or she's a relative
activist. I'm not too sure of her affiliation, but she's an NPP activist. And today she's an administrative assistant at Ghana National Petroleum Authority. So again, at a time when even people with PhD are in the house, people with masters are in the house, they cannot find a job. She went to do masters 2019 and came back, and she's employed. Meanwhile, the same finance minister is telling us that if you complete school, do not look to the public sector. Look to the private sector. The very private sector that they have collapsed today. He is telling the youth, meanwhile, their people, they are employing them. All I'm just trying to say is that, for me, this is so shameful. This is very unfortunate, because if you are poor, what that means is that you do not have the resources to go and buy scholarship.
Let me establish it before I go to Rabi. So, in a case where we find political activists belonging to the government in office benefited from this scheme, what does it mean?
You see, Annie, I think as a country, we all need to be sincere to ourselves. Scholarship Secretariat was established for one main objective: support the brilliant and needy. I know previously we had scholarship for cocoa farmers that was supposed to support cocoa farmers' children. Sadly enough, people who had the connection, people who had money, bought this scholarship, and the very people that this scholarship was established for never got it. Scholarship Secretariat is also witnessing the same thing. I think as a country, things like this, we need to say no to them. We cannot pretend that all is well. All is not well. When individuals are lining their pockets because they are using the institution they are working for as a means of enriching themselves.
Right.
For me, I think that this investigation should not just end on social media, on people just coming out to express their view about the issue, but heads must rule. If there's enough evidence that student bought scholarship, £5,000 scholarship for 40,000, and so on and so forth, these individuals should be punished. You see, that is why I said I was so surprised that we are having a report telling us that we have good governance today. How can we say there is good governance when a process that's supposed to be transparent, a process that should be straightforward, being so opaque, a process that the poor and the needy should benefit, is benefiting the rich and then the affluent people in society? How can we say that this is social justice?
So
definitely
if you go on
injustice, and I think that we need all to condemn it and hate much.
So if you go on the website of the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat, this is what it writes. Welcome to the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat online application system. That applicants are to note that the service provided by the Secretariat is free, and that no individual, group or third-party entity has been engaged by the Secretariat to assist any applicant. Kindly read thoroughly and complete your application. So the 4 easy steps to your scholarship application. Open the web address, and the address is www.scholarshipgh.com. 2, create an account to register. 3, complete the application form and upload academic transcripts, admission letters, and academic certificates, and complete an online aptitude test and be scheduled for a selection interview in your selected districts. Location, North Ridge, GS Council Building. Location, behind Accra High. Hotline, the numbers are there. The email is also there. GPS address is also there. So that is what it gives you. And then the other information, you can click on the links and then it will give you all that.
They present it nicely like this.
Exactly.
Even to go for visa, I'm told they have to even pay to get a letter from the Secretariat to secure visa. So you can see what is really happening. And I think it is not about hearsay. These are reality. You see, this level of hypocrisy is why we are where we are today. Because look, when there's a problem, acknowledging the presence of the problem is the beginning of the solution. So when you refuse to acknowledge the problem, you cannot even have a solution. And that is why the economy is in this mess today.